Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Kyra and today is my update for Project 10 Uses. If you're new to this project, it is exactly as it sounds, and that is you choose products, whether randomly or not, and use them 10 times, and then you roll them out and you roll something else in to use 10 times. Today's update is a little underwhelming. I do have one roll out, which means we'll be rolling in one new product, but with all of that said, let's go ahead and get into it. The first product has been a challenge for me. It is my Sephora Matte Velvet Lipstick in 04 Never Ashamed. I don't know why this has been so challenging to me. It's a little bit of a deeper color than what I would normally wear right now this time of year. To me, this is like more of a fall shade. I have used it 3 times since it being in the project, and 2 of those times were on my cheeks, which was really pretty. I definitely like it that way for this time of year versus as a lip color. But the one time I did use it as a lip color, I just sort of took and, you know, patted it on the lips, not full opacity. This formula, while it is really nice, it is quite matte and a little bit thick for my preference. So hopefully have this rolling out next month. Next, also a little bit of a more challenging product is MAC Double Gleam. This is their Extra Dimension Skin Finish, and it is a sort of a beigey base with a silvery champagne reflect. Looks like that. It's a little bit more glowy than what I've been using. I've been going for much more of a lit from within, something closer to my skin tone, so it looks more natural, more believable, if you will. But I have used this a couple of times on my face and a couple of times as an inner corner highlight for 4 uses out of 10. So that one is staying in. It's a beautiful highlight. It's just not something I tend to reach for this time of year. And I think that's why I'm going to kind of start going in the direction of picking my own products versus rolling things in randomly, because I want to pick products that I can and will use at any given time of the year versus having products like this sit in here for months, because it's a little bit more of a challenge for me to use. So that's where my head is at, but what do you think? Next, we have the Ilia Multi-Stick Deluxe Sample in the shade At Last, another product that seasonally just doesn't really make sense to me. I do have this on today, but I have a little bit of a pink powder blush over top. This is a beautiful berry tone, and I do really like the product, but I have 4 uses on this. I have used it on both my lips and my cheeks. I will say, to apply to cheeks, I definitely prefer putting it on the back of my hand like I did today, and then taking like a dense brush and picking it up that way to put on the cheeks. And I do really like it on the lips. It's a beautiful formula. This was the Sephora birthday gift in 2023, I do believe. So hopefully that will be rolling out next month. Hopefully all of these will be rolling out next month. Then I have my L'Oreal Voluminous Smoldering Eyeliner in a black shade. It's a great product, and I have used it a few times on the upper lash line, which is definitely how I prefer this. This is a kohl pencil, and the reason being so you can lay it on its side and do kind of a shading almost, to just have a lot of versatility with a pencil like this, and I do like it. However, it's not great for tight lining, which is how I most often wear eyeliner, is just to tight line, make the lash line look a little bit more dense, full, dark. But this transfers like the dickens from the upper waterline to the lower, and so I just feel like I'm constantly wiping off that lower inner rim. I just don't like a dark color there, which is why I don't typically use a kohl pencil on the tight line. This one, you know, may be in for a little bit. I have used it half of the times. I've used it 5 out of 10 times so far in the project, and it is nice getting use out of it. It's a product that I don't reach for often, but a product that I love having in my collection nonetheless. I've never even had to sharpen this, so if that tells you anything. Okie dokie. Next, another lipstick is the Kulfi Heirloom Satin Lipstick in the shade Cadi's Kiss. I love this. It's a unique tone of nude in my collection. I don't even know how I would describe it. Maybe a little more beigey with like a yellowy undertone to it. Very beautiful, very comfortable, great product. Just kind of forgetting to reach for this, but I have used it 5 out of the 10 times. So I think I should have this moving out by next month. I think it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Next, big fail for this month is my Patrick Ta blush duo in the shade She's So LA. You can see here, you know, by the dip and all of that, I do really enjoy this blush, but again, I think it's getting lost in the shuffle. I'm reaching for what's easy on an everyday basis because it's summer, but I do absolutely adore this blush. It's perfect for summer and fall. In fact, I believe I chose to roll this into the project, but didn't do a very good job with it this month. You can see here that the cream blush is ever so slightly more rosy than the powder blush, and that's what I like about it. I like to put the powder on first, lightly, just a whisper, and then go over it with the cream on top, which is how Patrick intends for these duos to be used. I just haven't done it. I have only used it 2 times in the last month, so picking up the pace on that one. But an even worse fail is my Kevyn Aucoin Neo Bronzer in the shade Sienna. I have used this 0 times. I don't know why. I have thought about reaching for it a couple of times this month and yet didn't. So I do need to reach for it 10 times to be able to roll it out next month. And maybe I just need to think of this more as 3 separate products. Think about reaching in here for the highlighter or just the blush or what have you, and not necessarily having to use all 3 products every time I get into this little palette or pan or whatever you want to call it. So hopefully I'll surprise all of us and this will be ready to roll out next month. But before we roll into the next product, let's go ahead and swatch this, and I'll show you kind of why it seems a little much to use all 3 of these shades at one time. But you can see that the bronzer and the blush, you know, the bronzer has a fair amount of a red undertone to it because of being mixed with the bronzer. I don't know, perhaps I'm just making excuses, but there are the shades nonetheless. Very, very beautiful. And then the last product before rolling into our one rollout is my Maybelline Expert Wear eyeshadow. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. In the shade Nude Glow. I did wear this 2 times in the last month, which isn't great, but it's something. And I am panning a lot of eyeshadows right now, so, but there's that. This is just such a beautiful, especially one and done shadow. I'm gonna show you kind of how I buff it out here. When you put it all over the lid and then buff it up into the crease, you can see it has enough of a shadow there to kind of give some depth, dimension, a contour to the crease of the eye. But then it is absolutely stunningly just shiny, gorgeous. I mean, this has been around for a decade at least, but not this particular one, but this product. And it's just beautiful. It's a great one and done eyeshadow. I just am panning or working on a lot of eyeshadows right now, so I did not manage to get to the 10 uses, but I did get 2. So our one rollout last use was today, and that is my NYX Fat Oil Slick Click in the shade Going Viral. This is, of course, one of those clicky gloss sticks. I like this, and I have it on right now, but I'm gonna put on just a titch more. And again, I like to kind of just dot this or dab this onto my lips versus swiping full color. You do you, boo. But for me, these can be a little thick feeling. And I use it kind of how I would use a gloss, and that is just to add a bit of shine to the center of my lips. And this color is just perfect for me. It is really pretty rosy pink mid-tone, great for my summer skin, and it's very comfortable. I do like the scent. It's fruity to me and Minifer, but you know, that's that. But those are the products as they stand now. I have 9 in progress and 1 rolling out. So let me take a moment, look in my drawers, and decide on a product to roll in. Okay, I am back, and I found what I'm gonna roll in. One thing I've been doing is kind of rolling in some of my multi-use palettes because they can be neglected, especially when I'm hyper-focused on individual products in my project pans. So I have them in a few different projects. I have one in my year-long project that I'm using each shade 10 times, which is a cream palette. I have my Benefit blush bar in my deck of panning for 3 uses of each shade. And now I'm going to roll in my Elephant palette from Hourglass. This is the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked Elephant palette. It does have 6 shades in it. Has the highlighter, 2 of the ambient lighting powders, this bronzer, and 2 blush. The reason I'm rolling this one in now is because this has summer tones for me, especially in the bronzer. And this bronzer is one that gives me pause. I definitely do not think this is the best shade for me for a bronzer. It's quite yellow. So part of me wants to work with that and see if by pairing it with the more cool tone powder, if I can make it work for me. I am not the biggest fan of this coral blush here. I feel like it's a little reminiscent of NARS Orgasm in that it doesn't have a ton of base pigment, but it has a ton of shine, a golden shine to it, which is not always my favorite. So again, I want to work with some of these and really discover if I can make them work for me, if I need to franken them like I did at my other Hourglass palette. There is the highlighter, which is also kind of deep for me, but again, I know I can mix the highlighter with the powder and sort of dull it down and lighten it up a little bit. So I'm not gonna say 10 uses on each shade or anything like that, just 10 uses in the palette, whether I use one product 10 times or I split it between the products. I will track how many times I have used each product in here, but we'll see next month. Hopefully I will have that, like, it would be really nice to have close to a refresh next month, so we'll see about that. But I just love this project. For me, as someone who can become very focused on my project panning and my overall goals for my collection, it can be hard for me to reach for things, other things within my collection while I'm project panning. And so this project is sort of like a shop my stash, except for there are requirements on how many times I need to use each product. And like I said, I do think I'm going to start picking my own products. That way I can use it again as a tool like I do my other projects to meet overarching goals within my collection. And at this point in the year, you know, we're more than halfway in. We're in the 8th month. 4 months left of the year. That is insane to me, but regardless. But you know, I have goals for different categories of makeup, and so this project, I can look at my spreadsheet, I can go into my makeup storage over here and kind of decide what I want to roll in based on what goals are needing to still be met for the year. And so I would love to use all of my face palettes this year, just like all of my eyeshadow palettes. I don't know how that's all gonna shake out in the end, but stay tuned because I have some bombshells coming up for No Pan Left Behind. I did a project and you will probably see that project go up. Not a painting project, like a project, and you will probably see that going up before No Pan Left Behind update, but I digress. It's time to wrap up the video. Are you guys doing this project? Do you use it like a Shop My Stash as well? I hear a lot of people say that, and that's definitely how I use it as a tool, but also I use it to start pulling in products that I'm not reaching for necessarily organically, but I do want to get some use on. So with all of that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon.